Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Chris. My name's Guy Palmer. I'm from Hereford and Worcester Fire and Rescue Service. Been invited today just to give you an overview, really, of where we are as an individual service. Obviously, Chris has spoken about the implementation, so I just want to talk through where we are. Probably what I'm going to say will resonate with a lot of you about some of the issues that we've experienced, where we are currently as a service, how that integrates with our regional partners who be sitting roughly on a similar table, along with where we see the future, really. So for those that don't know, Hereford and Worcester's in the Midlands, so I've kind of tried to allude to that with the map here. We're just north of Gloucester, okay, and obviously to the left there, you can see we're South, Mid and West Wales. You'll hear me refer to the region quite a bit, and so to minimise any confusion and to ensure that kind of regional partners are recognised, the following services on the map there are within our region. So that's made up of Shropshire, Staffordshire, Warwickshire, Hereford and Worcester, and West Midlands. And I think it's important that this is mentioned today because the shared success of what has been achieved within our region has certainly been the catalyst as to where we are. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, as I say that, you understand that concept. So where are we and why change? Well, currently within Hereford and Worcester Fire and Rescue Service, we've got a workforce of approximately 270 whole-time members of staff and 380 retained members of staff. So for those services who have a large workforce of retained members of staff, you will understand the pressures that are placed upon us for training, for implementation and the hours around that about getting knowledge across via policy. So subsequently, when we look at the number of hours that we have for training to maintain competence against the sheer volume of policy that's out there, it quickly became apparent to us that it's not really a sustainable system at the moment, and particularly for our retained members of staff. Now, in addition, I'm going to talk about some numbers in a minute, but in addition to that, I'd also like to kind of layer in the kind of technical practices being adopted across the sector. So if you think we're adopting national resilience assets into normal operational procedures. So we're also looking water rescue activities, animal rescue techniques, tactical ventilation, working at height, line rescue, specialist appliances, you already touched on compressed air foam systems. So by the very nature of the involvement of all of these activities, we're creating more training and more policy implications. So for us at Hereford and Worcester, it was about being realistic about what our staff could really digest as policy and what needs to sit within training, which I think has been echoed already today. But moreover, what can we reasonably expect them to know and understand so that should the needs arise for our commanders to exercise operational discretion and step outside of policy, could they do it safely? So with that question, you know, and that understanding, we looked at ours. Now currently within our organisation, we have 83 policies that run to 1,264 pages of text. So in real terms, this isn't really realistic. And additionally, you know, if I was to talk more about policy aspect, we've probably got 8 volumes that run to many thousands, which I'm sure will be the same within a number of your fire and rescue services. So what are we doing about it? Okay, well, as a region, as you know, I briefly described what that is. We came together in an attempt to simplify and make more user-friendly guidance. And actually together, we came together and we looked at a couple of examples here that I've got on the screen. So National Operational Guidance for Breathing Apparatus. So this guidance was brought in together as a region. Services combined their resources and produced what we think is very simple, user-friendly guidance to understand the content of that revised publication. Now, following the success of that, on the back of that, the Incident Command, for their Foundation for Incident Command, that again was brought in regionally. So to give you a little bit of context about, and to support the scenario work, the rationale behind it is the OGBA publication there, as you can see, runs to 172 pages of text. So if we looked at what regionally was introduced, that was distilled down to just 33 pages of text to get that across. If we looked at the Foundation for Incident Command there, you've got 55 pages of text in that publication, underpinned by the other non-publication for Incident Command, 26 pages, 81 of text. Subsequently, we worked on that publication and we managed to get that down to 8 sides of A4 that was introduced as a regional SOP to support that, but made it easier for our staff to understand. So we feel that the highly distilled guidance gives our staff the right balance between practical application and training to implement operational procedures that are captured within policy. So what were the next steps? Well, for us, we felt following on from the regional success of those couple of publications there, and I could list some others, I won't at the moment, that we're currently working on, we started to inform the workforce and push the NOG programme. This was supported by Chris and the team. So we were embedding the concepts of NOG at all levels within our organisation. And this was universally accepted within our region, certainly at strategic level, but perhaps not fully understood for us as an organisation, Hereford and Worcester Fire and Rescue Service, at grassroots level. So Chris kindly came up from the NOG team to support Hereford and Worcester and presented at our Middle Management Forum. That forum was attended by station commanders, group commanders, area commanders, and that gave us the opportunity to fully understand the programme, the implications and the pressures that were placed upon our involvement with that, and obviously to hear it direct from the horse's mouth, so that our managers who are going to communicate this through our organisation and push this really did have a well-rounded understanding of the programme, the journey that we're on. So where do we see ourselves now? We see ourselves supporting the programme, obviously with funding that's already been discussed this morning. We're contributing and consulting towards the development of future and current guidance. We see ourselves adopting the NOG user-friendly guidance, replacing internal service-specific policy where we can, and therefore the crux of it for us is reducing the number and the volume of current policies that we have in place, which I alluded to earlier, which is too much at the moment to realistically expect our staff to be able to digest and use operationally. We will be producing regional policy to bridge any identified gaps, and following the gap analysis process, we'll be looking at that and seeing how we can implement that and take that forward. And we'll be maintaining service-specific policy where we need to, because we fully understand that this is a great journey to be on, but this isn't going to cover absolutely everything and all of the isms, which I think has already been discussed this morning. So that's a very quick round robin of where we are, the journey that we've been on, how at the moment within the region we're bridging that gap to try and use the National Occupational Guidance publications, provide some highly distilled guidance for our staff to use, and then obviously that will be changed out then with the scenario-based products that NOG will be delivering. Thanks, Chris.